15 craziest music industry scandals. The music industry might seem like it's all glitz and glamour, with housing some of the most influential entertainers from all over the world. In reality, there's a much darker side to fame that isn't always discussed. From Canadian rapper Drake to the OG princess of pop, Britney Spears, here are 15 of the craziest music industry scandals. Beyonce. It's no doubt that Queen Bee is always turning heads, but in 2013, it seems that she managed to make eyebrows raise as well. At the inauguration of President Obama back in 2013, there were those that accused the singer of lip-syncing. She stated that she sang with a pre-recorded track due to the fact that she had no time to rehearse with the live orchestra, and she didn't want to take any risks. She wanted to make the president in her country proud, as it was about him in that moment. Beyonce also stated that plenty of artists sing with a pre-recorded track in the business, and that it's very common. Drake. Degrassi actor turned music superstar, Drake was at the center of a heated beef match between him and fellow rapper Meek Mill back in 2015. It all started when Mill sent out a tweet on July 21st that accused Drake of not writing his own lyrics. Mill took it a step further when he threw even more accusations at Drake, saying that he used a ghostwriter by the name of Quentin Miller. Miller himself broke the silence and stated that it simply was not true, even though he is credited on some of Drake's songs. Drake gave his own response with the diss track Charged Up, and then another one days later titled Back to Back. Madonna. Called the Queen of Pop by a good portion of the music world, Madonna has had some downright weird controversies surrounding her. Like that time she made out with Drake. Yeah, that totally happened. Her first brush with controversy was perhaps at the time when she angered plenty of Christians, with the 1989 release of her music video, Like a Prayer. They felt that she used Christian imagery in blasphemous ways. Things quickly escalated, and the news had traveled all the way back to the Catholic Pope, John Paul II at the time, and he even urged his followers to boycott anything that involved her. That clearly didn't work, as she's still regarded as one of the most influential performers of all time. John Lennon. Madonna certainly wasn't the first musical artist to get on the bad side of the world's pious people. During an interview that took place back on March 4th, 1966, John Lennon managed to say something that didn't sit too well with certain individuals. He said to the journalist Maureen Cleave how he believed Christianity would vanish and shrink, and that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. Lennon's words weren't met with much attention back home in Britain, but here in the States was a different story. The quote was quickly taken out of context, and the Beatles boycott was born. Fans were urged to gather all of their band paraphernalia and take it to designated burning sites. Lennon was later urged to take back his comments. Sinead O'Connor. Back on October 3rd, 1992, the Irish singer and songwriter was booked as a musical guest for that weekend on Saturday Night Live. She was due to give 2 performances that night, and her first one went off exceptionally without any problems. Unfortunately, it was her second performance that many say ultimately ended her career. During her rendition of Bob Marley's song War, she proceeded to pull out a picture of the current serving pope at the time and tore it apart while she sang the word evil. This was in protest to the abuse allegations of the Catholic Church at the time. SNL had no idea of what she planned, and O'Connor stated that she does not regret her actions at all. Ashlee Simpson. The younger sister to actress Jessica Simpson shook the music world back in 2004 during her infamous performance on the aforementioned late-night show Saturday Night Live. The singer was set to perform 3 songs for her upcoming album, Autobiography, in order to promote it. She first performed the song Pieces of Me, which went along smoothly, and then it was time for the song Autobiography. As she was about to begin, the track of Pieces of Me began to play, and it was revealed that she had lip-synced the entirety of her previous performance. And then she proceeded to do a jig off stage. It was later revealed that she had acid reflux disease and was advised not to sing live. Super Bowl 38. The incident that occurred at the 38th annual Super Bowl is one that many Americans are still reeling about to this day. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were set to perform as that year's halftime show headliners. Towards the climax of the performance, Timberlake grabbed at Miss Jackson's chest and what ensued was a wardrobe malfunction of epic proportions when his hand pulled away. The damage was done, as a total of 144,400,000 US Super Bowl viewers saw the mishap go down. The aftermath was that Miss Jackson was hailed as a pariah, and that it was somehow her fault. While her career ultimately stalled, JT, who was at fault, received no backlash whatsoever, and his career continued to flourish. Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy has had his fair share of controversy throughout his career, but the most prominent one would have to be the one that occurred in New York back in 1999. At the time, Diddy was dating Jennifer Lopes. Yeah, that was the thing. And the two were spending a night out at a Manhattan club. At some point during the night, an altercation involving Diddy and others broke out. Fast forward, and Diddy was summoned with several charges, along with fellow rapper Shine. Jennifer Lopes was also accused, but the charges were later dropped. Diddy got off on not being guilty on all charges thanks to his lawyer Johnny Corcoran Jr., who was also the same man that defended O.J. Simpson. Remy Ma. Everybody knows that Remy Ma has had some serious beef with fellow rappers Foxy Brown in 2004 and Nicki Minaj today. Remy and Minaj have been at each other's throats since 2007, and there are several songs to prove it. Back in 2007 and 2008, Remy Ma was accused and convicted of being involved in an altercation that involved some stolen money. Long story short, Remy Ma was found guilty for her involvement in the crime and was given 8 years to serve in prison. After 6 grueling years, the rapper was then released early, most likely due to good behavior, on August 1st, 2014. These days, she's serving up diss tracks and looks instead of prison cafeteria food. Lisa Left Eye Lopes. Lopes is well known by 90s fans as being one of the 3 members of the hit girl group TLC that is most recognized for their hits Waterfalls and No Scrubs. What you might not know is that the late singer is also famous for something she did back in 1994. At that time, Lopes was dating Andre Rison of the Atlanta Falcons, and one night the two had a pretty intense argument. She then promptly set a fire to all of his tennis shoes in the bathtub, and ultimately, the fire got out of hand and burned the whole mansion down. It was revealed that she did this because he emotionally and physically abused her, and she did it to get back at him. She was charged with 5 years probation and given therapy at a halfway house as part of her sentencing. Britney Spears. The general public remembers that 2007 was a pretty dark time for the Baby One More Time singer, who was going through a series of rough patches in her personal life. Britney Spears fans, however, knew that there was much more to her situation than what most people knew. Her downward spiral most likely began when she went through her divorce and lost her aunt in the same year. The very next day, after she learned about her aunt, was the infamous day in which she shaved her own head. She would later admit herself to various treatment centers for help, and ultimately, she would lose physical custody of her 2 children. But look at her now. She's got her children back, and she just wrapped up her 4-year Las Vegas residency on December 31st, 2017. Tupac and Biggie. The music industry was rocked to the core when it learned the horrifying truth of what happened to one of rap music's greatest and most talented stars. On the night of September 7th, 1996, Tupac was on his way to the Las Vegas club 662, now known as 7. While at a stoplight on East Flamingo Road and Koval Lane, a white Cadillac pulled up and ambushed the black BMW he was in. 6 days later, Shakur succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. No more than 6 months later, Tupac's friend turned rival, Biggie Smalls' life was also cut short. The music industry was still reeling from its loss, and then it had to endure the loss to another one of the greats way too soon. Rihanna and Chris Brown. Who could ever forget the events that took place back on February of 2009, when word got out that Rihanna had to cancel her performance at the 51st Annual Grammy Awards. Her fans, along with the rest of the world, were horrified to discover that the Barbadian singer had been physically assaulted by her boyfriend Chris Brown at the time. Word got out due to the fact that a photograph showcasing her injuries was somehow leaked from the local police department, and was then promptly scooped up and shared by TMZ. Brown pled guilty to the charge of felony assault and was only given a measly 5 years probation and restraining order. But look at Rihanna now. She's living her best life and is absolutely thriving. Kanye interrupts Taylor Swift. It all started back in 2009, during the MTV Video Music Awards, which was almost 10 years ago by the way, when the whole Kanye West versus Taylor Swift feud was born. What had happened was, Taylor Swift was nominated for Best Female Video of the Year, along with other fellow Fierce nominees that included Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Kelly Clarkson, and of course, Beyonce. Taylor Swift ended up winning the coveted Moon Man Award and took to the stage for her speech. Just as she was presumed finished, Kanye West steals the mic and proclaims that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time, referring to her nominated video for Single Ladies. A stunned Swift uncomfortably stood center stage, and the whole thing made headlines all over the news the next day. Kim Kardashian exposes Taylor Swift. Oh, you thought it was over? Oh no. There was that brief moment where we all believed that these two music moguls buried the hatchet, but the bad blood arose once more when Kanye West released his 2016 album, Life of Pablo. In it, he had a lyric that referenced Taylor, and she called it misogynistic. He claimed that Taylor had given her his permission to use the lyric, and she denied that allegation. Well, Kanye's wife, Kim Kardashian, took to the internet and released various videos of taped audio recordings that appeared to state that she gave him the okay. The internet then branded Swift as a snake and flooded her Instagram with snake emojis, which she later claimed last year as a part of her new album, Reputation. Will this feud ever end? So what's something you learned today that you didn't already know? Let us know down in the comments section below, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to see more awesome videos just like this.